Shots fired, shots fired, shots fired across from the DOT. Get your hands behind your back!
A golf course groundskeeper is charged with attempted murder after police say he allegedly stole a John Deere tractor from a golf course and drove it to a college campus with the intent to kill. The incident happened on May 4th in Key West, Florida. According to police, 22-year-old Ethan Layne, a groundskeeper at a local golf course, stole the tractor and drove it through a dorm at the College of Florida Keys to allegedly kill 2 people. Bodycam video obtained by Law&Crime shows police rushing to the chaotic scene, but the officer is in for a terrifying surprise as the tractor smashes into a squad car as soon as he arrives at the scene.
21, that tractor is going to be on College Road. I believe it's a green John Deere. It's in the middle of the lane.
7-0, Ivan.
Copy.
The officer then fired off several rounds at Layne as he tried to flee.
Shots fired! Get on the ground! Shots fired, shots fired, shots fired across from the DOT. Get your hands behind your back!
As the officer approaches Layne to cuff him, Layne tearfully apologizes.
I'm sorry. Sorry for what? You almost killed me.
I'm sorry. I hate society.
Okay, well that's not the way to go about it, bro.
I'm sorry.
Did you get hit?
No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Tuck your knees into your chest.
I fucked up my life.
Yeah,
My life is gone.
I'm downtown.
21. I'm 13. My car's destroyed. But I'm 10-13. No injuries.
Kill me!
I don't want to kill you. I want to protect myself. Why are you acting like this?
I got threatened and I wanted to kill them.
Just check
They
to make sure
threatened me
everybody back
first.
here is good. My aim was that way. Make sure there's everybody back
They
there is
threatened
good. I
me
don't
first. I wanted to kill them. They had to pay.
Oh, check what?
just make there's people in the background there. Just make sure everybody back here is okay.
My life. I had it good. And now
Yeah, well,
I'm gone. I'm sorry.
sorry. Look at me. Look at my car, man.
Get a break. Go get a break.
I'm okay. I'm all right, man.
I won't do anything,
Sit up.
I swear.
Sit up. Sarge, you good?
Yeah, I'm
You
fine.
get shot?
I'm fine. No.
You fine? Stand up. Stand up.
Police confirmed thankfully no one was injured by the tractor and subsequent shootout.
We have rescue staging. Is anyone injured?
No injuries.
You good?
Yeah, I'm fine. No injuries. You could send them anyways, just to check on the patient, just in case, for the suspect. Do I have another supervisor en route?
What's yours, man? Get together.
Depends on the triangle.
Copy.
Good. Yeah, looks.
No, I'm fine.
He's not. The suspect's not fit.
Yeah, he
so-
veered right into my. I was off to the side. He went into my truck or my car on purpose. And then when I got out, because I'm pinned here, and got around here, fired off shots, and he ended up surrendering right there because he kept coming back at me after I got out of the car.
I'll walk in a second. You're gonna be fine.
For you to block everything off. We're gonna need to. I'm gonna go back to the college and secure that
Yeah.
at the back of the
Check
dorms.
that out.
Okay.
Talk to witnesses, victims over there.
Or switch it to a suspect info.
I'm fine.
You need to go to the hospital or anything?
You okay, Sarge?
No, I'm fine.
You all right?
Yeah. Okay. Just wait for another supervisor.
Call 274 2729 Florida, name, date of birth. First name. Hotel, Alpha, November. Middle name.
Let's block this.
Bravo, Echo, Romeo, Tango. Last name.
Someone 021. Yeah, let's get these lanes blocked off, both lanes, both directions. So just give me people pretty far down at least, just so keep the scene secure, please.
The guy with the bow tie.
I'm good.
They went to the college saying there were shots fired.
No, I called it out that this tractor was on US 1. It was coming out of the lane going more towards the center. I was off to the side. He obviously veered directly into me, smashed my window. The tool went through my windshield, obviously. I got out because I'm stuck. He came back at me.
Okay, but there's nothing at the college.
There's damage. There's going to be damage. The whole original call. No, the suspect's here. Hey, I need you to give me a few, unless you are heading over here. And we got plenty of people.
You guys need some assistance somewhere?
Yeah, I think we got plenty of people for now. This is going to be just securing the
No, he's
stuff.
good. He's in control.
Any sergeant on scene? Do we still need assistance from additional units?
All right, bye.
Sir, how are you? See you.
If you want to start walking off road on College Road, that'd be helpful. Oh, yeah, it's fine. You're like,
Yeah, and also by the ER side on College Road. Just walk off the road.
We need to take a really quick pause out of this really wild body cam video to bring you a Law&Crime legal alert. If you don't know, Google Incognito tracked users' browsing data without their knowledge. But there's a team stepping up to help. Mass Tort Alliance, one of our legal sponsors, is helping users file for compensation due to Google misleading the privacy of their incognito browser. So if you've ever used Google Incognito anytime since 2016, here's what you're going to do. Go to incognitoclaims.com/LCBodycam. Take the questionnaire, and in less than 10 questions, you can start your claim. Again, that's incognitoclaims.com/LCBodycam. Prior to the shooting and Layne's arrest, he reportedly left behind a path of destruction. Layne allegedly smashed through a lobby of a dorm building, then used the bucket attachment of the tractor to destroy the overhead plumbing under the building. He then rammed into a truck in the parking lot, overturning it. Then he allegedly smashed into another vehicle using the front of the tractor, striking a car with a 4-year-old girl and her father inside. According to police, the victim saw the tractor veer toward his car, then raised its front end and smashed down on his vehicle. After the victim escaped with his child, Layne allegedly aimed the tractor toward a third car, but the driver was able to escape the attack before finally smashing into the police cruiser, prompting the officer to fire off several rounds. Layne faces several felony charges, including attempted murder and attempted murder of a law enforcement officer, aggravated assault, burglary, and grand theft, which, according to attorney and former prosecutor Melba Pearson, could carry a life sentence in the state of Florida.
This is definitely a very bizarre story. I have seen all manner of different ways that people have tried to harm and kill other people. I would say it would be a first to see a case with this tractor here in Florida. And yes, I definitely have a lot of questions about what's going on here because, first of all, was the people that ended up being the victims, the father and the young daughter, were they the intended targets of this? Is this part of a broader domestic violence dispute or a custody dispute? Like, so few details are known at this point. We know that he's a 22-year-old man that worked as a groundskeeper at a golf course, but we don't know much else. We do know he's being charged with a ton of charges, a slew, as a result of, backing into the police officer. That right there, that action is enough to rise to the level of an attempted murder of a police officer, which carries minimum mandatories with it. You also have just the attempted murder of the two people that were in the car. You have the burglary. You have the grand theft of actually stealing the tractor. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And if he's convicted, he's looking at life just from the standpoint of all of these different charges together, and the fact that these charges can be stacked at sentencing, meaning they can all be run consecutively at sentencing. So that's something else that they're going to have to consider in terms of what the trial strategy is going to be from a defense perspective. He's looking at life. He's looking at life because of the fact that he's looking at the attempted murder of a law enforcement officer, also the attempted felony murder. He's literally, these are all, first degree felonies punishable by life or life felonies. So yeah, this is a situation where he's going to want to possibly negotiate a plea as early as possible, take responsibility, and, it's going to involve a prison sentence. I don't see any other option.
It's unclear who Layne's intended targets were, but as Layne was overheard screaming, "I wanted to kill them," could prosecutors use those words as an admission of guilt? Pearson says definitely.
I think that statement would be considered, can be used as a confession, basically, because of the fact that, number one, is this an action that a reasonable person would take, right? So you can't use it from the standpoint of self defense because he felt threatened, so he had to react in a certain way. You don't react to someone threatening you by stealing a tractor and driving a distance and then, destroying a college dormitory, college buildings, and smashing cars. That's not a reasonable reaction to being threatened. So that's certainly not going to help him from a self-defense perspective. So the other way that the statement could be used is basically an admission of guilt and saying, listen, I did this and I felt that I had a justification. It's just not going to hold water in terms of a defense, but it can definitely be used by the prosecution to show his guilt.
And on the flip side, pursuing an adequate defense could be an uphill battle.
If I was his defense attorney, I would be pursuing the mental health angle, and not from a manipulative perspective, but just from a real perspective. This is not normal behavior. This isn't, the average person, if they're upset about something, their first thought isn't to go steal a tractor and act in this manner and destroy all of these buildings. I could see if someone was maybe intoxicated or it was an instant reaction in the heat of the moment, in the heat of passion, something along those lines. But this was a very strange sequence of events. So I definitely would be inquiring as to his mental health, looking at his medical records, trying to see if there's been a pattern of strange behavior or unexplained behavior in his past that I could use to fashion a mental health defense. Outside of that, there's not much more to work with, right? And remember, the reality is everyone's entitled to a defense. Doesn't mean it's a good one. Doesn't mean it's going to be a winning one, but the U.S. Constitution guarantees everyone the right to have legal counsel and have a defense. So the defense attorney will have to work with it to the best of their ability.
Pearson says it's possible the case doesn't even go to trial because prosecutors may work out a plea deal.
Why would a 22-year-old with purportedly at this point, again, very little is known about him, but he doesn't seem to have had a criminal history or any interactions with the criminal justice system that we know of. So was this a complete mental break or something along those lines? I think all of those questions are going to be posed throughout this case. And I do think the prosecutor and the judge will be taking this into consideration as well. But again, looking at the totality of the circumstances, the prosecutor has to think about what the victims or the survivors of this horrible event want to see as justice. And if they are along the lines of, we want to see a long prison sentence, a prosecutor isn't fully bound by that, but you do have to consider it, right? And that is going to play a very important role as to what's going to happen. Because if the victims stand up in court and say, listen, we're not in favor of, hypothetically speaking, a probation plea or something along those lines, we want to see prison, the judge is unlikely to overrule that and say, no, you know what, I'm just going to go along with a probation plea that the prosecutor has set forth and the defense has agreed to. So I think all of those things are going to be very important factors in how this case will be resolved. I think that this is going to be a plea. Again, with the aspects of this that seem to really speak to mental health, the fact that the defendant is so young, the fact that this was so public, and there's this, what I would believe to be a mountain of evidence, whether it be surveillance footage, witnesses that can speak to it, dash cam footage, body cam footage, there's such a plethora of evidence. I don't really see a scenario where the defense will find it to be a good idea to go to trial. So I believe this will resolve via plea, a prison plea. But again, anything can happen. So, and it's up to the defendant whether or not he wants to take a plea or wants to go to trial. So again, we just have to see. It's just, this is really sad, and I'm glad that it didn't result in any loss of life. And if mental health is truly the issue here, I hope the defendant gets the help he needs so that he can hopefully live a productive life.
Police say in addition to the 3 attempted homicide charges, Layne reportedly caused hundreds of thousands of dollars of property damage. At this time, he's being held in the Monroe County Detention Center on no bond. According to court records online, Layne is scheduled to appear in court on May 17th. Meanwhile, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement is investigating the officer-involved shooting. Reporting for Law and Crime, I'm Elizabeth Millner.